I know Marty is down to be like the first one there because like that's literally how we met because
Right.
we were like the only two insane people that showed up to a screening at TIFF like 3 hours early,
Oh,
and it was
always,
literally just
literally
he and I
every fifth
just
morning. 'Cause
hanging
I
out. Yeah.
I had like a 20-minute walk, so I was just like, let me just make sure I'm up and early and just like there first thing, always and forever.
Yep.
Yes.
That's literally how Marty and I became friends.
That's
It's like
awesome.
we were the only two standing in line, just like, okay, cool, you're as insane as I am. Awesome.
Yes.
Let's do this.
What's up, everyone? Thomas here with For Real. And if you're tuned in, that means you're probably interested in hearing all about Sundance 2025. Well, fortunately, I have got the team together so that we can do exactly that. Talk about Sundance 2025. Marty Millman and Derrick Murray is here on the line. Guys, welcome to our conversation of Sundance 2025.
Yeah.
Marty, you are returning to Sundance for the third time. Tell me what keeps bringing you back to the festival. Tell me about what you think about Sundance.
Sundance is like my favorite festival that I've been to, and I will keep coming back every year that they will have me because there's just something about these independent films. So many of them are new directors with really interesting voices, and they're trying to make their work known and work seen. So they go very out of the box, which is love it. I want to see something from a voice I've not heard from before. I want to see something that I visually have not seen before. And it's always just so new and so interesting and tends to be every single year since I've started going to Sundance. There's like three movies from Sundance in my top 10 of the year. So I'm going to keep coming back.
That is so true. Sundance is definitely one of these places, one of these festivals where every year something that premieres at Sundance ends up in my top five. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that last year, It's What's Inside just like ruled my life all year. So yeah, totally dig that, and I'm glad that you're coming back. And Derek, bro, I am so excited for you. This, ladies and gentlemen, will be Derek's first Sundance. He gets to trek out with us to Park City this year. Derek, tell me what it means to you to finally be at Sundance.
Man, it is such it's hard to even believe. Like I feel like I should be more prepared for going for the first time, and because it's been such a huge thing for me. I've covered previous Sundances, but not like officially. And so this is my first official Sundance where I get to show up, I get to be there, I get to be in Park City with everybody else. And like I'm so excited, I feel unprepared. Like that's where I am with trying to balance everything out. But yeah, I can't wait. There's multiple films from this last year's Sundance that made it into my top 25. I think A Real Pain made it into my top five. And so it's always, kind of to Marty's point, it's always just this great festival that kind of sets the precedent for the year, right? Like what we're going to expect in 2025 happens at Sundance. And you get to hear all these unique voices, all these independent people who are really just trying to get their voices heard and make unique movies and special movies and things that like you wouldn't expect would be great. And that's just one of the things that's always drawn me to Sundance. So being able to be there for the first time, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you. I don't know if there's anything you can do to prepare. You just bring your coat, your biggest coat, your boots. There will be snow, and that's really all that you can prepare for.
Perfect.
Oh man, guys. Well, I'm actually particularly stoked this year because as fun as it is to get to Park City and hang out, we're all going to be staying together this time, and that's pretty dope. So, looking forward to all of that. All right. So basic information about Sundance. Sundance is happening this year from January 23rd to February 2nd, so about 10 days. It'll be happening in Park City, in Salt Lake City, and online for those who are in the US. You can get tickets for quite a few films actually online to stream. Um, there are almost 100 feature films and episodic programs, and I actually am looking forward to covering a couple episodic projects this year. There's 57 shorts, and if you're looking for individual tickets, they will go on sale January 16th. So All right. I'm really excited to jump into conversation. Before we do, there are a few special mentions I want to get out there and see where these rank on your guys' interest level. One of the shout outs I want to do is to the film Didn't Die. It's by writer-director Meera Menon. And the synopsis just says a podcast host desperately clings to an ever shrinking audience in the zombie apocalypse. Um, I did have a chance to screen this movie already, and there's a number of things that makes this film worth watching. It's one of those movies that deals with obviously a zombie apocalypse, but it's really focused on the human issues and the human conflicts with the zombie apocalypse in the background. It's filmed in black and white, which was a very creative choice here, and definitely has that kind of older film style to it that actually is pulled off really well. And you know we'll be talking about this, I'm sure, but it's a 89-minute runtime. Do not complain about those 90-minute runtimes. It's a full-fledged story in a really given in a really brisk manner, and love that at festivals. So Derek and Marty is Didn't Die a part of your interest levels?
Oh,
Yeah, for me it is. I think the whole midnight slate has been added to my must watch. I all of the I'm not a huge horror head, but I'm such a sucker for the type of horror that shows up at Sundance. I loved Fresh. I loved Speak No Evil. So a lot of these ones that just have these weird kind of off the beaten path type of horror genres, I really enjoy. So all of them are on my list, whether virtual or in person. And Didn't Die is definitely one of them.
Hmm.
yeah, I'm very excited. I am not a zombie person whatsoever, but the independents have really been getting me with the zombie movies over the last couple years. So I think I'm like reframing myself. Maybe I am a zombie person. Maybe it's just the big budget thing has just been so overdone with zombies, and it's these independents that know how to take it in a new direction.
Absolutely. If you're interested in Didn't Die, it has its world premiere on January 28th at 9 p.m. at the Lincoln Center Theater. It'll have three other screenings after that at the festival. It will be available online, and press, y'all can see it on January 23rd, and it will also be available for press online as well. Another one I want to shout out really quick is the film The Virgin of Quarry Lake. I think in some places it's listed as The Virgin of the Quarry Lake, whichever it is. It's by Laura Kasabi. And essentially, it's a movie that takes place in outside of Buenos Aires, and it's these three girls who have fallen in love with a boy. One of the girls is closer to the boy than the other two, and just as she thinks that their relationship is going to move to the next level, there is an older woman and more mature woman who ends up capturing his attention. Um, this is another one that I really enjoyed being able to screen ahead of the festival because it's one that I am happy to share about. It has this kind of eerie atmosphere to it. It keeps you kind of guessing what's going to happen next. And it also just has great performances from the cast. And the filming style is what really struck me. Like how this is filmed, how shots are framed, how the scenes are blocked. It's so everything is so well coordinated and well orchestrated in how this film is made. So that really stood out to me. And if you like slow burn movies that have like really striking moments, and there are moments, this is one I would recommend seeing in theaters. Yeah, this is a movie for you. And again, 93 minutes. So nice runtime for a film festival movie. Any thoughts on The Virgin of Quarry Lake?
The concept of it sounds very interesting to me, especially the more you talk about the interesting framing. I love when a film kind of goes out of the box and you kind of see things from a different angle you would expect to. And I think it really kind of grounds you in a film when you're getting those kind of visuals. And just the story alone sounds so interesting. And I'm down to see who wins the boy in the end.
Yeah, no, I'm with Marty. I The way that you've kind of described the framing is right up my alley. I'm such a big proponent for international cinema. And so I just think those things of just, I think there's so much value in experiencing voices from all around the world and just kind of understanding how they tell stories and how they create narratives. And just kind of hearing you talk about it, like, yes, it's got the Sundance vibes in the way that like we think of Sundance films, but no, this is definitely one that I really want to see.
Awesome. It is having its world premiere on January 27th at the Egyptian Theater. There will be four of the screenings after that, and it will be available online. For press, you can see it January 24th, and it will also be online for press as well. Last one I want to give a really quick shout out to is Where the Wind Comes from writer and director Amel Giladi. The synopsis is just about these two young friends, a 19-year-old girl and a 20-year-old guy who just imagine escaping the life that doesn't really have a whole lot of promise for their future. And so they want to get out, and they discover a contest that might allow them to break out of their daily lives and find a new path forward. Um, this film, it's those two characters, I think, that really make this movie something special. It's just a really infectious relationship between the two. Their friendship has ups and downs, and watching them navigate it is very interesting. And the actress Aya Balaga, her character is written in a way that is that is so resourceful and so scrappy that it's just very amusing. But most importantly, I think this is a story that a lot of people will connect with, especially when they think about their own adolescence and wanting to, you know, break out of their hometown and go have new experiences and have a bigger future than their home is able to offer. I think there's a lot that people can connect with that component of the story. So, yeah, Where the Wind Comes From. Guys, any thoughts on this one?
I'll say this one isn't really too high on my list. It looked interesting enough, but I did kind of place it in like a I'm gonna do it virtually.
Mhm.
But I mean, look, if there's an endorsement from you, then I will definitely move it up.
Same. Like this was not too much on my radar, but the way you've described and the way you've talked about it sounds really interesting to me. Always love a scrappy character.
Mhm.
And as someone who like immediately the second turned 18 was like, okay, goodbye, hometown. Like I love watching stories about people just trying to like break away and break out.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm it's definitely moving up on my list now.
Yeah. This one, it has its world premiere on January 26th at the Egyptian Theater. It'll have three other screenings in person. It will be available online, and press can see it January 24th, and will also be available online for press as well.
I have one more if
Yes,
you
yes,
want me
yes.
to, yeah,
Absolutely.
to
Let's
do a
go.
curtain raiser. So I actually got the chance to I'm going to give a shout out to Touch Me. So I did have an opportunity to check out this film. So it's written and directed by Addison Hyman. If you recognize that name, they did Hypochondriac in 2022. And if you enjoyed that film, then I think you'll enjoy this one because it's just as weird. It is it's about a woman who has a fling with an alien, a narcissistic alien, who lost his world to climate change, which is what he tells us. And she's like down on her luck, and she ends up living with her friend Craig. And then when they really need a lot of money because the alien is rich, they decide that they're going to go to his mansion for like a party for the weekend. And then their hopes is like he'll give them money, and then they both start like being obsessed with like sex with this alien because it's like euphoric and like heroin inducing, and like it's there's a lot of stuff going on with like trauma, and like he heals their anxiety when he has sex with them, but he's also just like the most narcissistic f boy you've ever seen in your life. Like this alien is just everything that you hate about people that like seduce others. And he just gaslights them all the time. And then there's some other things that happen. But this movie was like, if you're down for weird, this is the movie for you. Like, if you want to if you want to drop a little acid, You want to do a little drugs, get a little high, and then sit down and just watch intergalactic species sex. This is the film for you. So yeah, this one, it's very strange, but I actually really enjoyed it. It opens with like a 10-minute monologue of your lead protagonist, um, talking about fucking an alien, and it's just like it's on it like she's talking to her therapist, and it's like literally a 10-minute monologue of her whole experience with this alien. And from that, I was locked in. Like she's so good in this 10 minutes. So yeah, so I would actually recommend it. I don't is it was that on any of your guys' radar?
You know,
Oh,
Marty, we were talking about this before we started recording.
yeah, I'm very excited. I'm hoping to get tickets to the midnight and see this with a huge crowd. Always love. My first year, we got to do Infinity Pool at the midnight,
Yes.
and it was insane. It set such a high bar for midnight selections for me. It's going to a midnight horror screening at Sundance is like the best thing in the world because you have such an engaging crowd.
Yeah.
And this story sounds like the perfect film to
Yeah,
spend at a midnight Sundance crowd with.
yeah.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm very much looking forward to this one as well. And again, is falling in line with how we feel about the whole midnight program. Yeah, Sundance needs to be careful. They might become a genre festival.
They really might. I look, this movie has cages, it has hip hop dancing, it has intergalactic species sex, it has drugs, sex, it has everything you would want from like a minute, and it's also wildly funny. Like it's actually really, really funny. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. This one will have its premiere on January 28th. So yeah, it's pretty late in the festival. It does have a press screening earlier, but yeah, if you're trying to check it out, you gotta stay through the whole festival for it. So
Yeah, yeah. No online access for this one, so you got to see it in
yeah, no
person.
online access. Yeah.
All right. Well, great shout outs. Let's talk about some movies that we are really looking forward to and that we are excited to share about. Now, there are so many movies at Sundance, and this is the problem that I have every year. There's always so many films that I want to see and that I want to talk about, but we've narrowed it down to our three most anticipated films, and yeah, let's hop into that discussion. Marty, we're going to start with you. And we're going to start with your third most anticipated film. What would that be?
Um, I think my third most anticipated, it was so hard to choose a top three, but I think I was able to. Peter Hujar's Day is like my third most anticipated. My first year at Sundance, we went to go see Ira Sachs' film Passages,
Yeah,
and it was fantastic. And right afterwards, we ran into Adele Exarchopoulos
yeah.
and got to chat with her on her way to the airport.
She signed
Marty,
this.
I'm so jealous.
She signed this flag.
I
Yes,
hate you. I hate you both. That is my French wife. How dare you?
she was like so nice, and like I'm like already trying to like process the film, and she's just like contextualizing it more for us, and I was just like, yeah, I really like this. So I'm excited to see Ben Winshaw work with him again. I just saw Paddington 3. He's fabulous. I love Ben Winshaw. So but I studied Hujar's work when I was in college, and I really love the way he examines what it's like to be a gay person in the 70s, especially in New York, as it's kind of getting into that hard grunge era. I think it's like literally set with just in like one day of his life in 1974. So I'm just interested to see where it takes us. And I've seen much of his work, Peter, and but I don't really know much about him personally. So I'm excited to see this depiction of him and how he got his vision to create such works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is an
I
int
love that. I love that pick, Marty. I love that pick so much. This one is also high on my list. It probably would have been on my selection if you didn't pick it first. And for me, like I Passages made like my top five films of that year. I That movie is just I absolutely I love that movie so much. And Ben Winshaw, like if you just put his name on something, like I'm in. Yeah,
Mhm.
just that's it. Like sign me up. Like I'm totally down. But him pairing with that director again, with how much I loved Passages, I know it doesn't have my well, but it's okay. Like it's on my list. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Rebecca Hall being in it too is a selling point for me. So,
Mhm.
mhm,
Love her. Love her so much.
Yeah.
right. This one is only available in Park City. You have to see it, you have to see it at Sundance. But there are a number of screenings. Um, ooh, they're kind of late in the festival though. Anyway, you can find those showtimes at the Sundance Festival page. So good pick. Derek, what's your number three?
I'm gonna move these around, so I know I have them on the list, but I
Ah,
didn't.
you're throwing
I
off my
I
notes.
know. Okay, so I didn't rank them. I didn't rank them, but
That's fair. That's fair.
now that I'm gonna rank them, I'm gonna rank
Okay.
them. So, like I've said, I am such a sucker for midnights at film festivals. I just think they they tend to bring out all the stops. Like that's where I saw The Substance at TIFF last year.
Right.
And look, not the whole lineup is great. Sometimes you don't get good ones. But for the most part, they really go above and beyond and find the most interesting aspects of every genre that they try to do at midnight. So you're pretty much always going to have a good time. So for me, one of those that's like super high on my list, I have it as a press screening on my schedule, but if I can get a ticket for the midnight, I'm totally down. And that's The Ugly Stepsister. I just give me weird renditions of classic fairy tales and give me different perspectives like that. Make it bloody, make it creepy, make it dark. I sold, totally sold. Forget Disney remakes, forget these live action remakes. Like, give me Ugly Stepsister with horror, blood, and guts. Like, let's go. So I'm all in. Sign me up. Like, that's where I want to be.
Yeah, great pick here. I am so sad because I'm trying very hard to figure out where to put this one in my schedule, but it's going to be tight, and I want to see it so bad. There's no online availability for it, so have to see it at the festival. I'm I really want to get to this one. I have to figure out where to fit it in my schedule.
I'm pretty sure the press screening for it is pretty early. I think it's like one of the first films I'm planning to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited for it. I haven't seen those bloody Winnie the Pooh movies yet, but I 100% agree about like no more Disney remakes. Let's just like let's do a Popeye horror movie. Let's do an Ugly Stepsisters horror movie. Like anything where we're just gonna bring a story that we know a little bit about and throw some gore in there. Like The Substance was basically like a fairy tale with tons of gore. Like I love the idea of putting those together because those grim fairy tales were pretty gnarly if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one it looks like its press screening is at like 4:30 on January 23rd. But then it has its premiere that evening. So its premiere will be at 9 on January 23rd. So if you guys are getting in early, stack it up because I'm either gonna be at the press or I'm gonna buy a ticket. Like this is a movie that like when tickets go on sale, I'm probably just gonna buy a ticket so I can make sure that I'm there no matter what.
There you go, for sure. Um, you know what? Let's keep this midnight train rolling. So, another one of our team members, Luca Meta, couldn't join us today, but he did submit his top three, and his number three is also midnight. We're just gonna roll with the momentum. So, Luca's number three pick is the film Together, which is a midnight film, and I actually don't know a whole lot about this one. This is, I think the only thing that I really know about it is that it stars Alison Brie and Dave Franco. Like, that's the selling point for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even, what does the synopsis say? Hold on. With the move to the countryside already testing the limits of a couple's relationship, a supernatural encounter begins an extreme transformation of their love, their lives, and their flesh. Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like Luca kind of stole two out of his top three are would have been on my list if he didn't get to it first. So, and this is one of them. I am so excited. I love little baby Franco. He's the only good Franco that you should watch anyway. Um, but yeah, I this one just looks I this is one thing I really love about Sundance is nobody else has been able to see these films yet. Like
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like once you get to Cannes and then even once you get to TIFF, right? If you go to TIFF, a lot of those things are imported from Venice and Cannes. So a lot of people already have like you get these kind of preconceived notions of like, Oh, well, because the substance was like that, right? Everybody that saw the substance at Cannes, they were doing their best to not tell you what happens, but you already had the hype going into it. And so you're going in with these expectations because so many people have already seen it in our industry. With something like this, all we get is a 2 sentence synopsis and the cast. And okay, let's go. Like we get to experience this for the first time, and I am very excited to do that. So this will be another can't miss. I'll either buy a ticket or make sure I'm there for their screening.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping I can get this on my schedule. Like, I really love Alison Brie and the Horse Girl. I think Dave Franco directed the movie she did, The Rental, about like them
Oh
being at like
yeah.
Airbnb and
Mm-hmm.
like someone
Oh,
stalking them. And I really enjoyed that one. It was a good slow burn. So, anytime she's kind of going in those alternative horror, I'm into it. I'm just hoping I can fit this one in my schedule.
you know what else is selling me on this movie? I'm reading the bio for Michael Shanks, the writer and director. But I guess he writes, he directs, he edits, and he does VFX, and
He's a
he's a composer as
composer.
well.
That's awesome.
So
Oh
like
wow.
I am a big fan. I'm already like y'all know I'm looking forward to I'm trying very hard to get an interview with Cooper Raiff because actor, director, writer, who's done great work. I always love appreciating when people uh, can do a whole bunch of different type segments of filmmaking well. And this is sounding like someone who's just incredibly talented at so many aspects of filmmaking, and I can only imagine he's going to put like his very best foot forward for this. That's appealing to me. So, all right. Cool. So that was Lucas' pick. I so my number three most anticipated film is a film called Last Days, from director Justin Lin, who has done a bunch of high profile entertainment, Star Trek Beyond, and he's done a few Fast and Furious films as well. And this one really appeals to me because it's based on a story that there was a documentary about a year or two ago. So the National Geographic film The Mission, which was directed by Amanda McBain and Jesse Moss, came out. It must have been 2 years ago, and I remember pursuing interviews with them about that film, and it's such a interesting story to capture. Just um, documenting how dedicated this evangelist, this missionary guy was to take on this effort of going to an indigenous island with people that of course have not heard of his faith and trying to evangelize to them. um so it was interesting as a documentary. I'm very fascinated with how it's done as a narrative film from Justin Lin. Like, what is this going to look like? And so that all of those components really has like a really, I think it's going to be really interesting and can be a very compelling film.
I'm
And what
always down when you take a documentary and turn it into a feature film. Julia Gardner was in one at TIFF, what was it, 2 years ago, that I thought was really interesting about these two girls in Australia.
Oh, the
So
Royal Hotel.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Loved that one. I went back and watched the documentary beforehand because I like missed it at TIFF, but I'm always interested when you can kind of take this story and kind of contextualize it and kind of morph it in a way that is slightly more shocking and kind of leads into more of the narrative sense. So, yeah, this one wasn't too much on my radar, but you've talked me into it.
I'm kind of with Marty. So for me, I actually didn't care for the documentary.
Mhm.
I thought it wanted to have its cake and eat it too. And it was a really frustrating watch for me because I don't feel any of these people should be vilified for what they've done. And so when I saw this on the lineup for Sundance, I immediately was like, well, I don't want to watch any more of this. Um, so um, but that has more to do with how I think the documentary does it. Kind of looking into it and just kind of hearing why you're interested in it. I I think there is a way to do this in where you can create at least empathy without creating sympathy. And I think
Mm.
that's what the documentary tried to do, where it's like it wanted to create sympathy for these people that like literally radicalized this young boy to think that this was the right thing to do, and sympathy for your main character who frankly kind of got what he deserved. And I know that seems really harsh, but at the same time, like, you are going to a place where you are not allowed to go to. What did you think was going to happen? And if the documentary really kind of puts or I'm sorry, if the feature film puts all of those things in shades of gray, right? Where you kind of walk away recognizing, like, yes, this kid was radicalized by these other people who should not be forgiven for the things that they've done. Then I think it's really interesting. So I've played with putting this one on and off my list for a while, because I just don't know that I need to see the story again. But your enthusiasm, like Marty, is starting to kind of like, maybe I can fit it into my schedule somewhere. So
Are you saying I'm converting you?
you are. I'm being converted. I too am going to go to the island of Park City,
Park
where
City.
I am not wanted. And
Well, you're wanted this year, so no, I appreciate that perspective. All right, I think we're swinging back around to Marty. Marty, what's your number two most anticipated film?
So my number two is Love Brooklyn. I'm very excited for this one. I'll read you off the synopsis. It's about three longtime Brooklyn natives, how they navigate their career, love, loss, friendship, and the rapidly changing landscape of their city. And it's got two of my most favorite actors right now. It's got Andre Holland, who was in Exhibiting Forgiveness last year. He was in Rebecca Hall's Passing. He was in Luca Guadagnino's Bones and All. And then we've got Nicole Bahari, who she blows me away with every role she does. There's just a way that she just kind of melts into these characters and can just grab your attention. Like, it's magic what she does on the screen. She's been in things like Shame, Black Mirror, Breaking, 42, and Honk for Jesus.
Mhm.
she's
And
so good.
just like
She's so
something,
good.
yeah, anytime I know that she's in a project, it just jumps up there. Like, I'm like, okay, this has got to be good if she's attached to it. There was a monologue she did in Scenes of a Marriage that literally just had me like she just knows how to say things in a tone and melt into a character the way I've never seen anybody do it. So I'm interested to see what she does with this role, how this film plays out, and I'm very, very giddy, very excited.
You know what, Marty? I This is another one that I kind of had on and off my list, where I was like, yeah, okay, this seems pretty basic in its setup. I don't know that I really need to prioritize this. I totally missed that Nicole B is in this movie, and I'm sold. Like, I literally, as soon as we're done with this, I am changing my schedule to fit Love Brooklyn in there, because I agree. She is just, who she reminds me of. I feel like it's her and Danielle Deadweiler who just don't miss, and like, they don't get recognized for the stuff that they do, but they're in some of the best films, and they're the best part of the films that they're in. And she definitely fits that mold. So now that I know that she's in it, sign me up. I'm gonna find a way to watch this movie.
There is a virtual, so if you
Mhm.
can't
I did purchase tickets to the
festival,
virtual, so
Yes.
I will prioritize the virtual watch as well if I can't figure out how to see it in person. Yeah, you sold me, Marty.
Yeah, interesting. Steven Soderbergh is also attached to this, so he's an executive producer.
Uh,
So
uh,
kind of an interesting credit there.
Geez, I gotta look into these more.
The deep dives are never deep enough.
I got it right. Like, just go one level deeper and then just change my whole schedule.
Right. Yeah, okay, Derek, let's go to your number two most anticipated.
Yeah. So my number two is going to be Kiss of the Spider Woman. Um, I have not seen the original Kiss of the Spider Woman, because I know that there's an '80s version of this film, but everything about this, I just, as soon as I saw it, who was in it, I was like, nope, I don't need to, this is a film I don't need to deep dive. You had me at hello. Like, I am in. I sign me up. Like, I will, no matter what, I will see this movie. Um, yeah, there's really not a whole lot else to say about it. I am fascinated by what this is, and it's I think it's in person only, right?
I believe
Hmm.
so, yes.
Yeah. So this will be one that I will, without a doubt, find a way to see. So yeah, that's my number two.
Yeah. Marty, what do you think?
I think people are going to be fighting tooth and nail to see this one. I saw the 80s film I just a few months ago for the first time. My partner actually got to see the musical back in I think the 90s when Cheetah Rivera did it, and he just talked about how he was sobbing, just sobbing uncontrollably so much that like his friend was like, "Can you shut up?" Like people are so and when I watched the film, I was like, this is great. Like, I could totally see how this is turned into a musical. I'm very excited to see where it goes with that. And I feel like J-Lo, she really is a hit or miss sometimes for me. But when
Mhm.
she's a hit, she's a fucking hit. So
Yep.
I feel like if she has that prowess with this, it's just gonna be a knock out of the park. And
Yeah.
I haven't heard any of the songs from the musical. I really enjoyed the feature film. So I'm just very, very excited. I wasn't the biggest fan of Wicked, but I'm happy that it's pushing the needle in a different direction for we're getting more musicals out there. So
Mhm.
I hope this kind of continues with that and just builds the audiences for more movie musicals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think Marty, to your point, Jennifer Lopez, she does the best when she's paired with good directors like this.
Mhm.
Like when it's a good director that has a clear vision that's trying to do something that is important, something levels up in J Lo. Like you can have her average wedding planner fodder and whatever she's trying to do on her own, but like she's great in Unstoppable, and
Mhm.
Unstoppable's pretty average, but it's filmed really well. It's made by
Mhm.
a really really competent director, and so I think something like this, Kiss of the Spider Woman, just everybody who's behind it and everyone's involved, like I think she's going to level up her game, and people are going to be like, "Oh shit, no, yeah, we forgot. Like she can act when she wants to. Like she can do it." So yeah, no, I'm really excited.
Um, I'm fighting tooth and nail to get on this press line. Uh, Apparently, so Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are also executive producers on this film, which is like huge in my opinion. So there's so many things selling this movie for me, and I have to go check and see if they'll be at the on the press line, because if they are, that would be amazing. J-Lo is also an executive producer on this, and I think that this is gonna hit. I think I have
Yeah.
a very, very strong feeling about this one.
I
Um
think this will be one that'll carry all the way to the end of the year.
I think so. Yeah.
That's it's hard to kind of pick up which ones you think are going to actually do it, but I have a strong feeling that this is going to be one that people are going to be still talking about in December during
Mhm.
award season. I just I'm going to make a bold prediction right now, and this is the one that I think will get there.
It is now on the record.
The internet is forever.
The internet is forever. And yeah, so we're gonna see if that pans out. Um okay, let's move on to my number two. My number two, I don't know what to make of it. This is the movie I use as an example for, the weird stuff that I go see at Sundance. And so this is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It's just fun to tell people like, oh yes, there's a movie titled this. This is one of those movies that I want to go into it completely blind and just take it in and experience it for what it is. The description does mention, it says this movie is very funny, very darkly, bizarrely, uncomfortably funny. Dope. I'm down. Like, get me into that screen. And this sounds like one I need to watch in the theater. It sounds like one I need to watch with the right crowd, the right audience, and Sundance is the place to do it. Also, I don't think it has online access, so we do have to see it at the festival. And I think it's going to be an experience. Like, I think that is like the thing that I can say for sure is it's going to be an experience, and I am at Sundance for experiences.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. It also stars Danielle McDonald. She was in films like Lady Bird and Bird Box, French Exit, and she was the star in Dumpling. And she is a very captivating actress for me. I actually got to see her do an interview in person when Dumpling was at the Savannah Film Festival. And there's an energy about her that when she's on screen, I want to see it. And I'm always down for those kind of kooky, dark comedies. And she seems to do really well in those roles. Like her performance in French Exit was very strange, very weird. Loved her. And another divisive person is in this film, Ivy Wolk. She caused a lot of drama with her being in Anora. So I know that this one will get a lot of online buzz as well.
Yeah, this one just has me sold on two things. The name, the title of the film. That's just a great title. Like
Great
I
title.
I love it. I'm with you. I when in, and it's true. When anybody asks like, "Oh, what do you like at watching at Sundance?" Oh, there's a movie. If I had legs, I'd kick you. Like it just has such a yeah. I watch weird movies. I don't know what you want me to tell you. But that with A24, I think that's huge. And then Rose Byrne, I just think when she's a lot like J Lo, where like she's obviously she does a lot of really great stuff, but when she's on, she's on. And I think people criminally underrate how funny she can be, even when she's trying to be dramatic. She has great comedic timing, and those things together, I'm just like, okay, I'm sold. Let's go. Let's find a way to watch this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to shout out Luca's number two pick, which I again I don't know a whole lot about, but I just read over the page, and seriously, this again, the deep dives are never deep enough. And I'm learning stuff right now. So, Luca's number two pick is Bubble and Squeak. The description reads, accused of smuggling cabbages into a nation where cabbages are banned, Declan and Dolores must confront the fragility of their new marriage while on the run for their lives. Which sounds interesting. It's on my list. Like I have it on my schedule to see. But I just went and looked at the credits. So the writer and director is Evan Tony or Tui. Sorry again if I'm mispronouncing it. And I knew that Himesh Patel and Sarah Goldberg are in it, but I'm for some reason just seeing that
Even
Stephen
yet.
Yeun is there. Like what? Dave
Mhm.
Franco, his second mention in our in our most anticipated. And it's also produced by Christina Oh. Um, so like these credits are hitting. Um, I mean, I already have it on my list. Like I have time slotted to see it. But I just got a lot more excited about this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I didn't look too far beyond just kind of the this is one I didn't do a deep dive for. But it is one that's on my list. It's definitely one that I'm either going to make sure I watch virtually, or if I have a way to like squeeze it into my schedule, I'd love to watch this in person. This also kind of fits that weird, this is what you watch at Sundance. Like I watched a movie called Bubble and Squeak about cabbage smuggling. Like it just that just screams independent Sundance. But it's totally up my alley. So yeah, as you started talking about like the producer and all the additional casts, I didn't even know all of them were in it. So yeah, go ahead and sign me up. I'm in.
Seeing the work that Sarah Goldberg did in Barry, I know she's going to be able to eat a weird comedy situation. So, like, big check. Knowing that Steven's in it, another big, big check for me. And then that concept to cabbage smuggling, sure, why not? What the hell? 100%. I'm in. I'm invested.
This one is available online. So if you're in the States and looking for fun Sundance films to maybe try to catch virtually, this could be one of them. So, all right, that was a good pick from Luca. Um, let's see. So I think we got through all of our number two picks. Let's move to our most anticipated film pick. Marty, what's yours?
So mine's a little strange. It's going on with that weird theme,
Yes.
weird Sundance theme, whatever. It's called By Design, and the story follows a woman who people just look over, don't care about until she switches souls with a chair, and people start to find her more interesting. I am obsessed with movies about inanimate objects. There was one a few years ago called In Fabric about this murderous dress who killed people. Loved it. There's one Rubber, I think. It's about
Mhm.
Love Rubber.
chairs
Yes.
that like
Killer
are
Tire. Yeah,
fire
let's
that kills
go.
people. And then we recently had also Titane about a car that gets a woman pregnant. And like, oh yeah, like I'm always about inanimate objects becoming main characters. And plus, Juliette Lewis is the lead in this. So her switching souls with a chair and a chair taking over Juliette Lewis's body. I need to see that. I need to see how this plays out. I need to see how kooky and funny and uncomfortable this movie's going to be because I know it's just going to tick every one of my boxes and I'm just going to be in the audience like giggling.
Hmm. I was so Amanda Kramer, the writer and director. I was introduced to her with Please Baby Please, and I was just enamored with that film. That was something that I did not expect to gravitate to as much as I did. With Demi Moore in it, and yeah, that was it was such a good film. Or something that really just like appealed to me, and I'm so interested in that like type of storytelling with this weird of a premise. Yeah, this definitely falls in line with, oh yeah, that's, this is what I watch at Sundance. I will I will not introduce this movie to my husband because he hates when I introduce him to movies where inanimate objects do absurd things. Like Rubber almost ended our relationship. So this is just going to be one for me to hold dear and to cherish. But I'm glad that it's on your list and so high on your list too.
Yeah, no, I'm all in. Everything about this, like the premise, Juliette Lewis, just everything about this. I read the synopsis and I was like, well, that's going on my list like almost immediately. It does. It just checks so many boxes. I love quirky, weird things like this. That just feels so far off the beaten path, but with competent people both in and behind the camera. To me, I'm just like, yeah, this can go horrible, right? Like this can go south really bad. But if it doesn't and it actually keeps everything on the tracks, like this could be a sleeper hit. It really could.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, really excited for it. Good number one pick, Marty. I think we're all looking forward to seeing that one. Uh Derek, what is your number one pick? Your number one is actually probably my number one, but what is your number one pick?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think some of this is hunting for the next real pain.
Yes.
I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do. But I love the two leads of this movie. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Twinless. This I just don't think we do it enough, and I think we're starting to really build those types of films that center around tried and true bromances, in the right way, in the ways that they should be portrayed, where you have this just incredible male vulnerability between males and this beautiful connection that they have. And I think that's just so important. And I don't think we see it enough. And I think we're starting to see it. And Twinless just screams like just this beautiful bromance that has so much emotionality to it. I think Dylan O'Brien is such a rising star right now. His best work are the things that you don't really think, like he's incredible in the outfit. He is very, very good in Saturday Night doing his best Dan Aykroyd impression. So I really look forward to him being able to do things like this, where they're not trying to make him a heartthrob. He's not trying to be an action star. He's just able to utilize his good, charming talents in this way. Sign me up. Like this feels like a tearjerker. It feels like I'm gonna need a minute. We're gonna have to go to the bar and have a drink and like process. And that's what I want films to do. Like that's why I go to Sundance. That's why I want to go to Sundance so I can experience cinema in that way. So I'm all in on Twinless, like number one for me. Yeah.
Marty, what do you think?
I was a little iffy about Dylan until last year because he
Yeah,
was a Pony Boy
Tony
and
boy.
Phantasmus. And both of those really kind of I was like, okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what everyone's talking about now. Because he's got the juice. And I'm always down for a movie about trauma bonding. And you've got these two guys who are without their twins. They're missing that connection. And so they're finding it within each other. And I feel like it's going to find that beauty of the human condition kind of story. And I'm always down for that. I feel like it's going to scratch that itch, like you're saying with A Real Pain. It's going to be that kind of heartful, emotional story of Sundance this year.
Yeah, for all the reasons that you guys are saying, I am very much on board. This one, when the schedule release, obviously you do your quick look over to see like, get a quick survey of what is available, and Twinless immediately stood out to me. Like immediately was like, that's a movie I want to prioritize at Sundance. It is available virtually, but I am trying very hard to get to that world premiere. I think this would be a really, really great one to see in person in at the premiere. This it's a very, very high on my priority list film. So I'm glad that it's your number one. We get to talk about it, and I get to pick a different.
I'm gonna have to clear out this credit card, guys. We
I know,
gotta
right?
gotta
Give me
go
the
into
tickets.
debt every festival.
Take my money. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah, no, this is gonna be great. Um, all right. I'll say my number one really quick. And my number one is going to be Train Dreams. Um, During the pandemic, a film came out called Jockey. Um, and this was a really, really compelling film. And so that director is the director of Train Dreams. And I feel like there's talent here with Joel Edgerton, Felicity Jones, Carrie Condon. And the description says Robert Grenier is a day laborer building America's railroads at the start of the 20th century as he experiences profound love, shocking defeat, and a world irrevocably transformed before his eyes. I think this is like a drama Sundance film. This is if I was to place bets, this might be the one that I think would get to awards considerations at towards the end of the year. And I'm really interested in like if Jockey is any indication, then this is going to be one that I think I'll connect with a lot.
This one's definitely on my list. I was trying to look to see if I can get it in person, but unsure. But it's one of those first, like the second I get home, gonna put it
Yeah.
on my big screen and close all the curtains and kind of just like wrap up and invest in. Because
Hmm.
yeah, the cast seems great, the story seems great, and like you're saying, it seems like it could be one of those dramas that kind of sparks the awards buzz.
Yeah, I'm with Marty. I didn't really try to finagle it into my in-person schedule. But when I was claiming all of my press virtuals, it was like in the top 10 where I was like, oh yeah, no, I need to make sure I get this because I'm gonna go home and watch this if I miss it at the festival. If my schedule does open up, you guys know I'm an insane person and I find ways to watch 5 movies a day every day at a festival, which just a 40-year-old man should not be doing that, but that's what I do. Yeah, if I miss this one, it's going to be high on my list for virtual. So no matter what, I'm going to watch this movie because I do. I love the cast. I think Jockey is great. So we've seen a lot of level up, especially with somebody like Jesse Eisenberg who
Hmm.
leveled up huge with the real
Massive.
pain. And so wondering if this is going to do that. I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a really weird thing with this one. I think the premiere for this one is actually in Salt Lake City. The website says it's in Park City, but I looked at the red carpet lineup and was going to try to get on this red carpet until it said the red carpet's in Salt Lake. And I was like, ooh, can't do
Is
that.
that okay? Yeah, because it's showing the Liberty Theater, right?
The
No,
library
the
center.
Library Center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it says that on the website, but I checked the red carpet, and the red carpet absolutely says Salt Lake City.
Huh.
The red carpet says Salt Lake City, and the press email says the premiere's in Salt Lake City. So
Okay.
not entirely sure what's going on there, but yeah, as you guys are saying, if we can't catch it at the festival, press does do have access to it online on the second half. So that is yeah, so that's my number one. Let's get to Luca's number one. I think all of us are excited about Luca's number one. And
I think honestly, I think he stole the key number one from
I
everybody.
think he did. So we have to talk about it. Luca's number one film is Opus.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you. I know you guys are like super excited about, it, so I'm gonna let you guys start with this one.
I look, you had me at AO Debris.
Yes.
I literally don't need anything else. Like if you put her in a movie, I'm in. I'm there. I'm seated. I don't care what it takes. But yeah, I just everything about this. I'm not a huge. I'm really hit or miss with Mark Anthony Green, but this feels like something that he can really dial into. And I think him paired with AO and what they can do together. this just feels like the best blend of like black comedy, kind of horror, thriller, like everything that I would want in a movie that is going to skyrocket to the top of my list. Like Opus just has it. Like just on paper, I feel like this is a can't miss film, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Io as well. Any project she's in, I'm gonna watch it. Ever since she did those like little stand-ups about her eating too many pop brownies and like having to pull over to the side of the highway because she thought she was having a heart attack, I was like, this girl's funny. This girl has like it. And I don't know, I love a story about a reclusive celebrity because who doesn't want to like pull back the curtain and like, so why are you recluse? Like, what is the tea? Like, you just want to know what the secrets are. And I feel like this is going to have a very kind of dark and fun and playful way of very unfolding all of this celebrity secrets.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it does feel that part of it also feels like it's going to be a really beautiful, funny satire of celebrity culture and nostalgia bait and all of those things. I'm just like, oh yeah, let's satirize this. Go for it. Like rip this apart. I'm ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope it has that that kind of teeth to it. It's an A24 film. You know what? I'm a sucker for A24 films at Sundance. They tend to start the year strong, and not that I needed the A24 label to sell me on this. IO did that already. But yeah, having this be an A24 film, I think this is probably like more of the thriller A24 type of film I know the company for. And so yeah, I'm really hoping that this one hits. I have big expectations for it and will be making time to see this at the festival, absolutely. So
And it has John Malkovich.
yes, it
Guys,
does.
come on.
Yes.
Come on. Like there is nothing better than that guy going over the top in something. Like let's go. Let's go.
Yep,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
think we've got such a good lineup this year. I'm so excited. Like I feel like the last couple of years there were a few obvious front runners. I feel like this is very much across the board. Like everything just seems so interesting and so exciting. And I'm literally like so giddy. I can't wait to like step foot in Park City.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So excited. It's so much to look forward to. And I mean, we're less than 2 weeks away from it. So uh it's coming quick. Guys, thank you so much for this conversation. Before we take off, Derek, is there anything that you want to plug where people can find what you're working on now and where your work will be during Sundance?
Yeah, so you guys can find all of my reviews and updates at nerdbot.com. That's where I write primarily most of my reviews. I've got Better Man coming out. I did see Den of Thieves, so that's coming out as well. But all of my Sundance coverage, curtain raisers, films that I've watched, anything that I'm doing there, all of that will be at nerdbot.com.
Sweet. Marty, anything you want to plug?
Nothing at the moment. I just saw Last Showgirl not too long ago, and
Yeah.
it's just it's been with me. I think I'm gonna go see it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I've kind of been out of it, haven't been writing for a minute, but I think that's pulling me back in and getting me ready for the festival.
Yeah, Sundance. Yeah, I even when I go on hiatus, always brings me back into it. Like, yeah, let's cover some more films. So yeah, it'll be good to have your coverage here. And I finally published my top 10 list of 2024. Better late than never, they say. But I'm not super late. At least it's not February. I figured I had to get it out before Sundance. So that's published. You can take a look at what my top 10 films of 2024 was. And I think it's a good list, a pretty unique list. There are some Sundance films on there. And yeah, you can comment and agree or comment and disagree, and we'll continue the conversation about that there. So you can find my work and of course our Sundance coverage at thisisforreel.com. For real, of course, spelled FORREEL. And that is going to do it for this time. Derek, Marty, thank you for joining, and we will see you guys in Park City for Sundance.